Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? I'm Steve Smith. Make sure I'm plugged in here. I did a whole video the other day. It was a good one. I mentioned this before about the truth about moving to the Ozarks, and I got back and I hadn't plugged in my mic all the way, and there was no sound, so now I got to make sure about that. As I said, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I want to talk today about the myth of the gray man. Now, some people might say, what do you mean the myth? The gray man is, everybody knows about the gray man. Do they? Do they? Do they? If you're new to us, welcome. Good to have you. Make sure that you hit the subscribe so that you get notifications. YouTube apparently is playing some games again. I'm getting more and more messages from people who say, you know what, I don't get notified of your new videos anymore. So, if that's the case, and you stumble, you get here by searching for it, and you see that you are subscribed, I would suggest you unsubscribe and then resubscribe. I don't know what the deal is. I don't understand YouTube, but apparently, who knows? That's it. Apparently, who knows? And if you are new to us, we are a channel that approaches preparedness seriously, in a serious manner. We don't try to scare the bejeebies out of you, and we don't make light of things, and we actually talk about what we know as opposed to what seems exciting. And this brings us to today's topic of Grayman, the Grayman concept. There are a lot of things in the preparedness world and on YouTube. A lot of ideas that are thought up and then promoted endlessly by people who, to be honest, don't have the life experience or background to fully understand whether what they're preaching is right or not. I was watching a video this morning and the title grabbed me, and it was on the Wilson Combat channel, and it was a discussion between Ken Hackathorn and Paul Howe, and the title of it was YouTube Commandos. And man, is that not the truth? I posted it over on the Patreon channel for those of you who are with us over there. If you're not, you're missing a lot. The link's down below. You are missing so much if you're not with us on Patreon. It only costs you $1 a month, and this isn't me trying to just get your buck. It's me trying to get you to get more information. Okay, and they were talking about all the people on YouTube who talk about, and in this case is mostly about guns, who talk about things they don't know anything about. They have a background or they carry with them a background that makes other people think they should know what they're talking about, and they really don't, because they don't have the experience. They may have training, but they don't have experience, and that's a danger, because training is not all the same, and there's a lot of training out there that just trains pure BS. Anyway, that got me, and that's also why I don't teach shooting publicly, because I won't deal with the idiocy. It's why I stopped teaching martial arts. But this made me think. I was thinking about it, and while I was in the shower, which is where so many of my great ideas come from, well, good ideas. Well, ideas anyway, right? I was going to do a different one today about when the world collapses. I know everybody loves those, but it's important. And a lot of people simply don't understand that either, really, because they've been misled by people who, again, want to talk about things, but don't understand that they don't have the background to understand it, right? So that led me to this, and this is kind of one that I've been thinking about doing for a while, but the ideas just kept coming and coming, so that's what we're going to talk about. Where did this idea of being the gray man come from? Now, different people will have different ideas. I'm going to tell you right up front, it is wrong. It is wrong. Right now, I've got somebody typing, no, it's not wrong. I've watched 19 YouTube videos telling me that it's right. Well, okay, you can either argue or you can learn. most of the people who have promoted this, the reason that they don't understand that it's wrong is because they don't understand predators. Predators are the danger. Okay, a predator starts out in grade school being a bully, and then that's about the extent that most people know about predators. And anymore, we don't allow bullying, right? Back in my day, your day probably, bullying was how we all learned to handle problems, right? Being bullied. And then we learned how to handle problems, and that enabled us to handle bigger problems, and it made us learn about people, right? Okay. Well, just to let you know, if you're new, I've dealt with predators all of my life, not just the little, bullies in grade school. In 1968, I was 14 years old. I lived on the line between the black section and the white section. It was during the race riots. It was the summer that Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. We had all the anti-war riots, the race riots spread across the United States, and that was my first education in predators. We all carried knives by the time we were 14 and dealt with predators. Predators start off mentally. It's not just physically, it's mentally. And predators are not necessarily stupid. Now, many times they, think with an animalistic process, but they're human. Okay, so they can use human smarts, and many predators are extremely smart, and they will play the psychological game before they play the physical game. That's what a lot of people don't understand. So this idea, and then beyond that, all my years in law enforcement, working the bad parts of a big city, all my years undercover, I got an education in predators, and most people don't understand. Here's the problem with the idea of Grayman. Okay, Grayman is simply the Teotihuacan version of the student who has perfected the ability not to be called on in class. Okay? Or the guy who makes it through his 3-year hitch in the military, keeping his head down, not being noticed by not being first, last, or late. Right? That's the gray man. Nobody notices him. Well, this is the big fallacy that people who promote this totally wrong idea of gray man, and I know, you put in gray man in the search box, and boy, you're going to get all sorts of videos about gray man, usually with an illustration of a guy wearing a hoodie, going through the city, something like that. And they're going to have, thousands, hundreds of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, which then continues to promulgate the idea that gray man is the way you want to go. Let me tell you something about predators. And like so much in life, it's something that so few people truly understand, although many people think they do. Okay. You are not going to go unnoticed by a predator. And that's really your only danger. Okay, if like what I wrote about in my books, a crash, a CME, the grid down, whatever, EMP, you find yourself away from home, and now you're hoofing it home. Okay, you've got to go through some dodgy areas. Okay, you are going to be seen by the predators. You are not going to be unnoticed by predators. Do you know why? Because that's what the predators are good at. That's what they specialize in. Seeing and identifying potential victims. Do you think you're going to walk through the jungle and not be seen by the jaguar? You think you're going to walk across the savannah and not be seen by the lion? No. And if you're going through whatever kind, and usually, when people think of the gray man scenario, they're thinking about a city environment, because once you get outside, your dangers decrease. Your threats decrease dramatically. But while you are in a threatening environment, you are going to be seen. I don't care if you are wearing the grayest gray you can. I don't care if you're wearing 50 shades of gray. And you are looking as innocuous as possible, and you have dressed up just like all the videos have told you to do. Don't wear tactical stuff. And I'll tell you why that's wrong in a second. Don't wear tactical stuff because it makes you stand out. Wear, just a backpack that looks like you could be a commuter or something, and don't wear anything that makes you stand out. You don't have to worry about standing out. You are going to stand out. And this you need to accept. You need to understand this. That if you're going through an area, the predators are watching. And it doesn't matter whether you're by yourself or with a larger group. Now, in some cases, it can be a little more dangerous to be traveling by yourself. It just depends, okay? But they are going to identify, they're going to watch, and predators know who the victims are. They know. And they will watch. Because, picture yourself in a city, right? Everything goes down, and now you're trekking home in your little Grayman outfit, thinking that nobody's seeing you. The predators are up in the buildings or on the streets, up on the hillside, watching everybody. You know what they see when they see a whole bunch of people or one person coming by? They see supplies. They see potential money, stuff that they want, stuff. They want your stuff, or maybe they just want to play with you before they take your stuff, okay? And make your life hell. In the second chapter of my first book, The Reversion, I introduced the concept of predators. I do it quite a bit in detail. I cover the psychology of it. I cover how normal people get victimized by it, and then I cover the solution to it. And then when we go on, is it my second book? I forget. Might be when we talk about Grimm and the slavery and cannibalism. Okay, predators are going to see you, and you do not become invisible because you're carrying a commuter backpack and clothes that don't stand out. If anything, it makes you look like a soft target. You don't want to look like a soft target. When you're walking through the jungle, you want to look like a predator. You know who predators don't attack? Other predators. I could tell a couple of stories. I don't think I will here. Maybe I will on Patreon. It's how to survive in a real threatening environment. But that's not for YouTube. The ones who say don't dress tactically, I don't know where they get this. Okay. Well, I do know where they get it. They get it because they just made it up. And they heard somebody, and they heard 10,000 other people say it, and so they think that it's true. No, I know the predators. Okay, I've lived with the predators. I've been a predator myself, not of good people, but of other predators. And it's a different mindset. If you, however, rather than looking like a gray man trying to be invisible, walk through there with an air of a predator, being ready, being aware, knowing exactly what's going on, putting yourself in the environment and being comfortable with it, or at least acting like you are, even if you're scared, you know what, acting like you're, how you carry yourself is going to send a message. And the message you want to send is, do not jack with me because I am ready to bring it. Because you're going to have a bad day. You come on me, you may not leave. That's the attitude you want to have, and that's what you want to portray. And it has to be out there. You're not getting through an area without being seen by predators. How you get through is by making them think that you're a hard target. that jacking with you may not be worth their time. Okay? They may get hurt jacking with you. They may get killed jacking with you. They may not get the stuff that's in your tactical pack. They'll wait for the next guy that comes along being all Grayman with his commuter backpack on, that looks like a computer bag. And they'll take him out. And you know what? Another thing I wrote also in my first book, how when everything went down and Jim Wyatt was making his way home, he had not taken a rifle with him that day. Now here's another thing that people will say, you don't want to be walking through these areas with a rifle hanging around your neck. Yeah, why not? Let me ask you that. Why not? Think about these things. When you hear people say things, think about them. Say, is that right? Is that wrong? Does that make sense? Now, it takes experience to know whether things make sense or not, but use good judgment. If everything's just down and you don't know exactly what the deal is, there's no reason to show your weapons. Okay? Even if you're carrying a rifle, hey, you're going to carry your rifle. If your car's not working, the grid's down, everything's down, you're going to walk home or get a bike like Jim Wyatt did. Gets home faster. But you're going to take your rifle. You're not leaving your rifle in your truck. Carry it. Don't make it if you're wearing a clothing that can somehow, cover it, do that. Don't let more show than is necessary. But if everything is down and fires are starting and you're seeing social unrest blow up around you, damn, have that rifle out. They're not looking for trouble. Predators aren't looking for trouble. They're looking for easy targets. If you're all dressed up in camo, or if you're all dressed up tactically, and I don't dress tactically for the most part, some aspects of my clothing may seem that way simply because I wear Duluth fire hose pants because I like all the pockets. Because if you saw my EDC video, I carry a lot of stuff on me. It's just what I've always done. But if you're looking tactical, if you're looking camoed, you're not sticking out in a crowd any more than the guy who's wearing his little computer bag. Okay? Because they're looking at everybody. I can't say that enough. They're looking at everybody and they're studying everybody and they're studying you. And if you look like you know what you're doing, and if you look like you could be a danger to them, you're probably not going to be messed with. Because like I say, they're not looking for trouble. They're looking for easy targets that they can have fun with and then take their stuff. Okay? So, I hate to see these things being continually promoted in the preparedness world by people who obviously don't have the experience to understand that what they're saying is wrong and can be dangerous when other people believe it. So don't believe this myth about the gray man. It's not going to get you anywhere because your danger is the predators. Danger isn't good people. The danger are the predators. And some might say, well, but I want to be gray man so I can fit in so I don't get picked up by sent to a camp or something. It's the same thing. You are not going to be missed by these people. They are going to be studying everybody. Okay? Okay. So take that for what you will. And when you hear things, I can tell if people know what they're talking about. Most people, and it's because of my experience, and not just me, many people with experience can tell when others know what they're talking about. Most people don't have experience in these lousy kinds of lifestyles, right? It's just we happened to have done that professionally, and so we know it. I understand the jungle of the city like I understand my backyard. Most people don't. So when you hear advice from other people in preparedness, think about it. Does that really make sense? Does that make sense? And don't just swallow it whole, because I'll tell you what, taking bad advice can be very, very dangerous. Okay, you all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And if you're going to prepare well, you need the right information. I'll leave it there. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.